play that game because Apple wasn't going to beat Microsoft. Apple didn't have to beat Microsoft. Apple had to remember who Apple was because it had forgotten who Apple was.
Once back at Apple, Jobs' characteristic flair for marketing came back in full force. Ken Siegel worked with Jobs on a breakthrough advertising campaign that defined their new direction.
Here's to the crazy ones, the misfits, the rebels, the troublemakers, the round pegs in the square holes.
You're looking for that thing that could crystallize what's different about Apple. Ideas are flying back and forth.
Because the people who are crazy enough to think they can change the world are the ones who do.
I think at some point, the words "think different" appeared, and suddenly they were like, well, that's kind of magical. That strikes a chord. Think different became the line that launched Apple's rebirth. Steve was aware of every detail. I mean, literally every word, every image, working with different companies, working with, Intel, Dell, IBM, companies like that. You don't get that sense. I mean, the top guy in one of those companies is not going to know about the third paragraph of copy in the ad that's running in Newsweek that week. Steve did. One of the reasons why I thought the words were so perfect is I think you literally could have hung a sign that said "Think Different" in the garage when Wozniak and Jobs created their company. It would have been appropriate then, as it is today.
And I always thought that advertising campaign really wasn't directed to the general public. It was really aimed at the people inside of Apple Computer. And it was think different. Let's not do what everybody else is doing. Let's not mimic Microsoft. Let's not chase IBM. The only way we're going to carve out a special place for our company is to think different and express that in our products.
Steve Jobs was back at Apple Computer, but the company was still in trouble and needed a lot more than the morale boost that came with the return of its founder. It needed a hit product. Jobs turned to industrial designer Jonathan Ive, who in this rare interview with the BBC talked about how he redesigned what had become a boring beige box.
A lot of people at that point in time were nervous around computers, around technology. So a clear goal was, how we could make the product accessible, not intimidating. How we could make it just so simple to use.
As creative director at the advertising agency Chiat Day, Ken Siegel was one of the first to see the mysterious new product.
We knew that something was coming and that it would be very special. So, one day the team went up there and we sat in a room and there was this thing sitting on a table under a gray, cloth of some sort. And, a little introduction, and here it is. There was kind of a gasp from around the room because keep in mind that no computer had ever looked anything like that. It was transparent. You could see the guts of it. It looked like it came out of the Jetsons or something.
The iMac was an astounding success.
The thing was the biggest selling computer of all time, 6 million units sold, and it really sort of set the stage for Apple's comeback. If that hadn't been a hit, Apple and Steve Jobs would be history. It gave them enough money and enough momentum, to start coming out with other products.
Slowly, Apple's fortunes began to change.
The wins at the beginning aren't big wins, they're small wins. It's just, at the beginning, it's stopping the decline. When you start going sideways as opposed to continuing the decline, that's a bit of a victory.
In an era of product research, Steve Jobs is a one-man focus group.
They do zero marketing. Zero. Zippo.
There's a famous Henry Ford quote, if he had asked people what they wanted, he would have built them a faster horse. A lot of companies try to figure out what people want and then build that, and Apple doesn't do that.
He doesn't listen to his customers at all. That's the last person he's going to listen to. They're knuckleheads. They haven't got a clue what they want because they've never seen it. He's inventing this stuff before anyone's seen anything like it.
In 2000, Jobs dropped the interim title and became permanent CEO of Apple Computer. Soon after, he saw the future, and it was not a personal computer.
This is the best thing I think we've ever done.
In October 2001, Jobs unveiled something that even for Apple was groundbreaking.
The iPod went from concept to market in about 8 months.
But the iPod itself was only one part of a much bigger plan.
I think the genius of the iPod was iTunes, not iPod.
Jobs was going after a music business under siege by piracy and file sharing.
The introduction of Napster and things that came after Napster is pretty much can be looked at as the tipping point when revenue started to fall.
Larry Kenswell and other music executives were called up to Apple's Cupertino offices to negotiate terms that would define the future of the music industry. The negotiation was classic Steve Jobs.
He simply said, if I can't sell it for 99 cents on my store, I am not selling it. That's it. No discussion.
The music industry had few other options.
In business, you're used to a lot of give and take. That's not Apple's way. Apple's way is they get what they want.
It seemed like a good deal at the time, until iTunes became available on Windows as well as Macs. The record industry then realized just who had a bigger hit.
A complete monopoly at retail online. Both Apple and the music business have come out ahead because of Apple's entry. But Apple has made a whole lot more money because they're selling hardware for hundreds of dollars. And the music business is selling 99-cent products.
Since they were unveiled in October of 2001, over 250 million iPods have been sold. Tony Saganagi is Senior Research Analyst at Sanford C. Bernstein & Company.
Starting in 2003, 2004, we started to see real volumes in the iPod. That was really when Wall Street, the stock price, started to move. The company started growing again, started innovating again.
On May 15, 2001, Jobs unveiled an entirely new way to bring his products to consumers.
And they, behind the scenes, for 9 months, built a series of prototype stores until they figured out the format they wanted.
The Apple stores began to show staggering success.
We had 26 million visitors during the holiday quarter in our retail stores. I mean, think about it. This is more people than live in any state in our union but California.
Well, they're unbelievable profit machines.
The company's product launches became huge events. Anticipation and speculation grew to a fever pitch with every new product, much of it due to the showmanship of its leader.
Good morning and welcome to Macworld. We've got a lot of great stuff for you today.
He likes being the center of attention. He likes running the show.
He's a big rehearser.
Being a hippie, you wouldn't guess it. You would say, oh, he goes up and wings it. Forget it. There is nothing winged here.
We went into the holiday quarter with the best lineup of music players on the planet.
If you're an Apple product manager and Steve is going to introduce your product, the prior 3 months to that day, your life is hell. And it's only going to be 10 seconds. But at 10 seconds, you're going to sweat blood for those 10 seconds.
It's the new iPod now.
It's a perfect match because he's a showman who can really introduce a product, and he has great products to introduce. You can be a great showman and have a piece of crap and fail. You could also have a great product and be a lousy show person and also fail. He's both. He's got the engineering behind him, and he's got the ability to do it.
We believe that the personal computer is undergoing a rapid evolution to be the center of our digital lives, and we have never been more excited about this stuff.
Jobs' signature approach is known as the reality distortion field.
You just want to believe everything the man says. It's an incredible talent he has for getting people to hear what he says and get excited about it.
The reality distortion field is when he's in this sort of Svengali role where he says, and it only costs $1,800, and people applaud. And when they get home, they say, yeah, but the computer that I have now costs $900. Why is it good that it only costs $1,800? And worse still, why did I buy one on the way out? You're not talking about numbers. You're not talking about, anything rational. You're talking about emotion.
In the summer of 2004, Apple Computer was thriving, but its leader was not. Just over a month after he appeared on stage at this Apple event, Jobs sent a shocking email to his employees. He revealed he had been diagnosed with what he said was a treatable form of pancreatic cancer. He wrote that he underwent successful surgery for the